welcome.
Hey, everybody. Hold on. I was thinking.
Hey there, folks.
Hey there, folks.
That's a Jason thing. Hey there, folks.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing? Thanks for stopping by. Sit up on the front porch, rock a while. We drink some sweet tea and have a real good time. Any of y'all out there want to drop a line in the water? We talked some fish today. Okay, ready?
Do you ever fish? Like ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We fished out here one time.
Yeah.
But all kidding aside, if you ever wanted to come over and bring your rods over and just chill, sit by the chair, there's fish out there. I don't know what kind of fish. I'm not a fish guy. But I remember when we started doing this a few months ago, and we bring the rods, and you actually caught a microphone.
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty good, man. I laughed hard. Oh, my God. That was good. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Sound Check. The hype is still there. The wheels are turning. Dave Spitz, I want to thank Dave again for doing the podcast last week, and the response has been great. Holy cow, the stories. Oh, my goodness. I mean, if you're from that era,
I felt like I was watching The Sopranos. Little Bobby down the street.
You had all the names, the nicknames.
Little Buzzard, it was hysterical.
I mean, it was all like, that era, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Up there.
There's Skeeter down the road. Skeeter and his older brother,
Joe
Two Banks.
They had all these names and everything. And
it was pretty funny.
Good people and good stories. So we appreciate you guys digging in, and Dave appreciates it. I'm sharing that because he's not on social media. So Dave's shout out says,
Dave
thank
Spitz.
you very much.
Today,
what else we got going on?
Today.
What?
Today we've got Jimi Fiano, local guitar legend. Now, Jimmy will be on today. We're going to talk about his new record, his live shows, his recording process, his gear, all that good stuff. And I'm sure Jimmy has some great stories to share with you as well.
And where do you know, how far back do you?
I was trying to remember when it was a while ago, well before probably the original Ridenour studios, maybe. So 90 something.
Yeah. He goes back quite a ways. So Jimmy's coming on today. We're looking forward to that. Want to say
it's gonna be fun.
Got my first Ridenour Robinette sound check shirt. Of course, this was from Kimba. That's a little gift from Kimba.
That was a big surprise that day.
Ridenour Robinette. So if you want one of these, we are going to put up a shop. Let me see if that's Jimi Fiano. Hang on a second. It is Jimi Fiano.
There he is. He's on his way in.
Let's do this while we're recording.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, so that's today, right?
You're live right now.
You're live right now. How long before you're here?
I'm at Hillsboro. The traffic's murder, but I'm going to be a little bit late, but I'm super duper on my way.
No worries,
don't worry about it.
It's all good. That's today,
all right?
right?
Love you. Bye. Okay, so there was Jimmy. That's why I had my phone on. Anyway, he's going to be here in a few. He's got some good stories. So for all the people, the music industry down here in South Florida and beyond, of course, Jimmy's wheels are turning right now. Things are going really well for him. He just released a small EP, a couple covers, a couple originals on it. He just did I guess you call it a CD release party or album release party at the band shell, which I went to after one of my shows. I played down in the Keys, and on my way back, I wanted to stop there. The place was jam-packed. If I remember quickly, it was just this past Sunday night. It was a 2-hour show in Hollywood on the beach. There might have been 1,000 people there.
Wow,
energy was really good. Great players. He's got Muggy in the band, Muff in the band. He's got the backup singer. He's got Steve Argy. And, of course, Jimmy plays amazing guitar. Betty Paget. I can't remember all the girls. I'm going to get an earful.
So he had background singers and everything.
Backup singers. One of the girls from GDR. But so the band was really good. Good songs. We're going to talk to him about that and the process. Also, what else you got going on now that you've moved? Are you giving lessons? Are you back giving some lessons?
I am. I'm back doing. I just had to take a few weeks off for this move, but I'm back doing my regular songwriting lessons, recording sessions, production, and writing for ad and sync.
What about guitar lessons? You do that anymore? Not really.
Not really. Sometimes if I have a writing student that maybe they're learning guitar and maybe they write more from the poem angle and are trying to learn an instrument, I'll help.
Is it because you don't have the time? Is it you have so many other things going on?
No, it's just that it seems like doing the songwriting lessons, a lot of times you wind up showing, if they play guitar, you wind up showing them stuff kind of along the way as you're helping them formulate the song or work on the song. Sometimes they have the song kind of mapped out already and you're just trying to, get it into better shape.
But it's not an avenue that you concentrate on. You do not promote, out of all the things that you do in the industry, giving one-on-one guitar lessons is not one of them at this point.
No, I mean, I could, but I prefer to do more of the songwriting stuff.
Okay, I was always curious about that. So the Southern Blood thing is going pretty good. The band's getting tighter as we're trying to get tighter anyway.
What about your Leonard Skinner thing?
The Leonard Skinner tribute is going well. We've had maybe 4 or 5 rehearsals. We got about 17, 18 tunes, about 2 hours of music. Things are going well. When you're in this tribute thing, you want to make sure you get it right. When you're in the cover band world, which of course I've been in, we all been in, you don't pick it apart too much.
Right, you could do your own version.
You own your version, make it loose, I don't know half the lyrics. I've been singing for the last 40 years anyway, but when it comes to the tribute stuff, we try to pick out the little pieces.
Right,
so there's so many different versions of these songs. So you could listen to, 76 at Winterland, whatever it was, or one of those old videos from the 70s, and then you listen to it today. Oh my gosh, the production, the horn parts, the chick singers, the honkettes, 3, 4 guitar, whatever it is. But so things are going well. We got our first show, which is April 13th, and that's at Nova University, the Miniachi Theater.
Oh.
Is that pronounced right, Jay? Miniachi?
That's correct, Miniachi.
Miniachi Theater. So
that's a good one.
It's new, but it's not, but there's not tons of them. It's not like a Journey tribute where there's one on every block or whatever, but there's a couple in Florida.
So are you doing now Southern Blood does some Skinner stuff, obviously.
It is the Southern Blood band with additional players. That's all it is, So you put a different name on it, put a different label on it, you give a different approach, you put the show together. We're trying to do a show.
Right.
It's not just the production of it's a show. So when people come to see it, they kind of experience it just like any other tribute, I suppose. Right?
So are you guys, when you're learning the songs, I know you're picking them apart, but are you looking at some of the Skinner live shows and doing any versions of songs? Because here's what I noticed. In the last couple of days, I've been learning tunes to do an acoustic unplugged thing with my brother and Scott Avery. And I find that when I go to look at the songs, if I find a live version, live versions a lot of times are way cooler than the recorded version.
Well, it's funny you ask that, because what we did was we put together a list of the version of that song. So people didn't go on, what song are we going to learn? I mean, some of them are to the note. There's no improv. But yes, that's exactly what we did. We sent them a live video, studio, live. So we have all the versions. So no one could ever say rehearsal, well, the version that I heard, it's the version that all of us heard. So good question. So, put a tribute band together. It's a good way to go.
Here's what I noticed. So I went on to learn Change the World by Clapton.
Yeah.
So I listened to the recorded version.
Right.
Learned it. But then by accident, I was searching for it again to go back over it. And I found a live version. Let me tell you something. The live version is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And the same thing happened with a Doobie Brothers song. Yeah. Now, I was in a Doobie Brothers tribute band few years back, and we
played on my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. But maybe it was, I don't know, Long Train Running, I don't know, but I found a live version. Let me tell you something. It was cool as shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to go learn the versions of it. I want to go to the live version, because it's not that it's looser. It's just they've been playing that song for a long time after they originally recorded it. So they're finding new little nuances to throw in, you know. Maybe the percussion takes an 8-bar. Maybe there's an acoustic 8-bar. Maybe they're trading off between. Totally cool.
The same thing with Skinner. When I went and saw them live, I just saw them a couple weeks ago at the Hard Rock.
Oh.
I mean, of course, there's no improv, but the energy, you know, big cymbals, big drums, pounded, piano players just all over, just tearing it up. You know, it's a different vibe. But yeah, man, sometimes the live versions are a lot better. And so the band's going to April 13 in Minnehaha Theater, and hopefully you can make it to that. And if not, I'm sure we'll be around around the block for the next one as well. So, and if you can't afford a ticket, just call me and I'll put you on a guest list and we'll figure it out.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
I don't want anybody to go, you know, oh, I got to pay $30 or whatever it is, because you know,
I'll be calling for the guest list.
You know what I'm saying? I'll put anybody on the guest list. I don't want my, you know, my crew, my friends have been following me for many years. If they can't afford it, then just let me know and we'll figure something out. So we got Jimmy coming on. I just want to say a shout out to Jason.
Mr. Sedaway.
Jason, good to see you, my friend. Say hello to our fans.
Hello, fans.
So Jason, real quick, because I've been getting a couple texts and a few comments when I'm out and about asking about Jason and who is he and what does he do. Let's start from the beginning. How did you meet Keith? How did that happen?
How did I meet Keith? I think I met you through Marquee.
Marquee,
yeah. Back when you and Beagleman were running the show over there.
How did that happen? You just walked in, or
Well, I had known Marco for a few years before that.
The recording engineer.
Yeah, the recording engineer.
So Marco was there with Beagleman from the beginning?
No.
Oh, he's just another engineer. Okay. So you walked in to do some engineering, or?
Probably came to check the place out.
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Marco probably showed it to me. Marco helped me put together the studio in Pompano that I helped build like 8-9 years ago. And so him and I got close through that experience. And a couple years after that, I started working at Marquee. So yeah, I'm sure he just brought me over there to check it out, show me his spot and what he had done over there. Because I was still in the planning phase of that other studio. So just, you know, taking notes. And
So you actually, let's just say, for people who wanted to know, let's say you were an engineer, kind of like you're a contractor. So if someone needed to record, they would call you up for a spot, like a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour window. Yeah. And you would get paid accordingly. You get paid hourly. You come in there, you mix. You weren't doing any producing, telling anybody what to play or how to play. It was all engineering, or how's that?
It was mostly engineering. Production would be on like a case-by-case basis, mostly dictated by what the client wanted. Some people would come in, they'd know exactly what they want, what they're doing, and I'm just there to make it happen.
Some people just don't know.
Yeah, other people
they're not
just
sure. Yeah. Shouldn't say they don't know.
When you're engineering, like, give us an example. So let's just say it's a band who has some originals, and they just want to record them, right? So the pre-production's already done. You're in there to engineer it. Does anybody ever, like, I always wondered about this. Does anybody ever breathe down your neck or, like, give you, like, you know, is there somebody behind you, someone is paying the bill, and say, hey, can we do this? Can we do that?
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot.
That happens all the time, right?
That happens all the time.
So just because you hear something doesn't mean the other person doesn't. Well, you would know all about that, too.
Right.
Well, I think one of the things I remember when I was engineering for bands.
Right.
You're engineering. You got 5 guys or girls behind you.
Right.
You're trying to do a mix, and everybody's telling you, the guitar needs to come up. I can't hear the snare drum. And then the drummer will leave. He'll be outside on his phone. He'll come back in and go, "What happened to the snare drum?" So by the time now you got the singer going, you know, I think the lead vocal's got to come up. So before you know it, the gain structure on the board, everything is like this. You got to start over.
Yeah, that would have. We'd have to make some rules before.
So yeah, well, you do make rules.
You have to.
And I almost always had a pre-production meeting with any band that I was coming. If it was just like a single artist, I'd usually forego that. But with a band, if I'm dealing with like 4 to 6 people, definitely have a pre-production to see like what their expectations are, what they want to do, and at that point, I would make them designate a spokesperson.
Right.
Who makes the final call? Someone has to make the final decision on whatever comes up.
Yeah, because it could get out of hand quick.
Yeah, easily.
I used to tell them if it was a full band came to the mix, a lot of times you might only get 1 or 2 guys in the band that show up for the mix. But if it's the full band, I used to tell them this: if the session's starting at 4, you guys can get here. Come on in. We'll say hello, grab a coffee, whatever you like. But give me an hour. give me an hour to get the board
Oh,
set,
yeah.
set up compressor, all your
But also, I could also come to him with files, and nobody needs to be there at all.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
So that's what several of the guys do.
I do that with our own stuff, with
Right,
the
so
and
he
the
can
sync
get it.
stuff.
I could send him files. He can even do it at home.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mostly mix out of my house now, and that's how it goes a lot of time. People just send me files. I'll mix it. Sometimes I'll ask or require them to send me like some reference mixes, like, what's the vibe you're going for with this? Send me a couple songs that, you want this to kind of sound like or emulate, so I can determine like the gain structure or like, the vibe they're going for.
Yeah, that's definitely important.
So now moving forward, so you end up having relations with relationships with Keith and Mark and all these musicians. So you were there for what, 3, 4, 5 years, coming up to today. And now your services. Tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily. I know that you're a parker, but you're a contractor, right?
Mm-hmm.
More or less.
Yeah.
So if any of these theaters need your services and you're available, you negotiate $1 and you go, or it's
well, no.
how does it work?
I actually work for the Broward Center.
Tell us what the Broward Center Performing Arts. What's the
Broward Center of Performing Arts. So
where is that at?
It's off of Broward Boulevard, around 7th or 8th.
Why
so
can't
it's
I
like
picture it?
it's like a mile or two west of Federal. But it's the Broward Center. They have a couple theaters there. Now those theaters are union rooms, which I can't work. They do have 2 small rooms there that I can work. They're non-union. I also work at the Parker, which is the main theater where I work. I work at the Aventura Cultural Arts Center. I've had a few gigs at Miniachi. So they're like this umbrella organization,
right?
That's funded by the county, and they manage all these theaters. And so
that's cool.
I'm on their payroll. So they just, it's an on-call system. So they throw me a bunch of dates. I can say yes to whatever or no to whatever. And then they book me.
Give us a, for instance, like let's say, I'm guessing every day is different. So one day you could be on a spotlight, another day you could be doing monitors, another day you could be doing lights, another day you could be the usher telling people where to sit.
Well, I don't get the usher gig. Those are all volunteers. All those old people that work as
Friday,
ushers.
I'm doing hair and makeup.
Right. But I do just about everything there. Sometimes I'm working audio. Sometimes I'm working lights. Recently, for the last couple months, they've been training me on the lighting console and how like all the fixtures and lighting instruments work.
Very cool.
So I've been getting into that. They booked me some lighting gigs in some of the smaller rooms.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not stuck going to the same place every day. Doing the same
every
thing.
day is different.
There's a nice variety of work.
Right.
So is it safe to say you're not looking for work?
I'm not looking for work right now. I mean, I'm still taking freelance audio jobs. I'm in the middle of a couple at my house. So I'm still mixing.
So an audio job, you mean live audio, you're not necessarily engineering?
No, engineering.
Engineering.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for right now, if someone was interested, let's say we have bands that are listening or musicians listening and want somebody to engineer their stuff or mix their stuff down, excuse me, would they be able to get a hold of you just through?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram or Facebook is the
Which
best
is what?
way.
Give me is it Jason Sedowy just on Instagram?
J Mixes. I mean, I'm on Facebook as Jason Sedowy. I also have J Mixes, which is like my Facebook page for like the business.
Oh, no kidding. J Mixes?
Yeah, J Mixes.
Okay, so if anybody's interested in recording by any chance, you can look up Jason. Jason's a good man. He takes care of all of our business. Once we want to thank Jason for being a great guest. That was the first time we had a small interview with Jason.
The first time I have a camera pointed at me.
Yes.
and we do have some female friends that are very fond of you, and they think you have a nice face.
Whoa,
by the
buddy.
way. So a shout out to Jason and his nice face. Keith Ridenour, I'm looking forward to having Jimi Fiano. And stick around with us. Jimmy's going to be here in a few minutes. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Stick around.
We'll see you in a few.
Okay, everybody, welcome to our podcast, Sound Check, with Ridenour and Robinette, Keith Ridenour and Jason Sedowy, our producer, engineer, graphics splicer guy, and we have Jimi Fiano.
Yeah,
Big hand and round of applause for Jimi Fiano. Jimmy, it's our pleasure to have you here. And
say hello, Jimmy.
Hello.
Podcast
Thank
studios.
you for having me.
Good to see you, bro.
Absolutely.
You guys.
So what's been happening, man? You got a new CD out. You're rocking. We see you all over town.
I do.
Shall we start with the CD and work backwards, or
We can a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
Let's see, where'd that CD go?
Oh,
You
I got
had
mine.
one.
I got my
Oh,
signed
okay.
copy. Right.
So there it is.
ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you.
It is called Sweat and Pray. It's a mere 5 songs. 3 of them are actually my originals and 2 are my renditions.
Cool.
So what happened is I had all these ideas for songs and I had a little break and I'd been gearing up to do these songs and then I schemed this thing. So what happened is we did this jam up at the Bamboo Room, for about a half a year. And I loved playing with Muff of Oskey Cunningham, the drummer, who was great.
Yeah.
And a longtime friend, Steve Argy, who
Yep.
we know is a monster as well.
Absolutely.
So I played with him and I thought, wow, what if these 2 guys played together? We had done some sessions before. I brought them in. I was hired to put a session band together for a girl named Gigi Donesco, who's been around forever. Yeah. So she wanted some people together and these guys worked real comfortable with the click track and all that stuff. So I brought them in to do it and they worked really good like that. But in the studio, it's so controlled that, you've got to be good to do that. But then I said, what if I got these guys out together and they could throw some shit back and forth and jam?
Yeah.
So the Bamboo Room called me and asked me to put a band together. So I hired those 2 guys and Mark Leach, Muggy Doo, the organ player from Buddy Miles. So we all got up there in the first time and I said, let's just do these 5 songs, whatever. So, we didn't rehearse or anything. So we got up there and played. And after like halfway through the first song, I just looked across and everybody was like, everyone was having such a good time.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to happen. So, and then people came up, people started coming, even though it was a jam night, people were coming just to hear us do our first 5 songs, just to see how we were going to fuck them up. Because, we jammed them out and stretched them and took them. And I never knew how we were going to take them or how we were going to end them or anything.
Right.
So anyway, so that's how I got those guys together. And I said, so now that I've gotten you guys together, I would like you to play on this record that I got. And I had a real loose arrangements of these 3 tunes, and they weren't even hardly finished. And Steve came over and we finished them up a little bit. We went in the studio and put them together. So I did the basic tracks there, and I didn't even do a real great job on my rhythms. I just said, look, this is the arrangement. This is what I want.
Get the bass and drums down.
Yeah, the bass and drums, of course. So we did that, and then and it was all according to how much time I had because, I'm still working in 5 cover bands doing all kinds of other shit too. So I saw I had a big hole in my schedule and I didn't take any gigs. And this woman, great singer, Sean Murphy, who is a very good friend of mine and I'm a good friend of her manager, T.C. Davis. They live in Nashville. And maybe, 5 years before that, she had a record out called Loretta. And she asked if I would play on it. So I played on 3 of her tunes. So then she said, well, since you played on mine, if you ever need any background vocals or any kind of vocals, and I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that. So
nice.
Did you have to go up there?
Yeah. So what I did is I said, listen, would you want to do my vocals? They said, come up and stay with us for a week. And we have a studio up here that is perfect for the vocals that we're doing. They had a great mic, a great mic pre, and a great engineer, Randy Coleman. So we went up there and I said, will you coach me with my vocals? This is like not what I do. I mean, I'm a guitar player and I sing covers, but but I knew what I wanted from her and the 3-part harmony and how I wanted it. So she was helping with my vocals and then I went in and I sang. And after the first song, I was like, the night before I started singing, I was like, fuck, can I even do this? Did I write songs that I can't even sing? I don't even know. You know what I mean? So and some of the songs weren't even, some of the lyrics weren't finished because I like keeping things really loose and I cut it right to the wire, man. So I was like, oh yeah, and da 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 da.
You write them as you go.
So I'm like, yeah, that's gonna work. So we went in there and I said, Sean, will you coach me on my vocals because I don't know what I'm doing? And she's like, yeah, I'll show you how to sing and take this stuff. And then, so I went in and I sang a little bit and I went, I got done with a couple of phrases and I came out and we listened and I go, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I just sang so raspy. And they said, no, we like it. And Sean goes, well, I've been touring with Bob Seger the last 30 years, and that's not exactly the most low kind of voice,
Right.
I mean, anyone who doesn't know who Sean Murphy is, her first record that she ever did was a duet with Meatloaf. Not like backup singer, was like a duet.
The real duet.
Yeah. And she also did Peter Gabriel. If you look at Live Aid, she's with Eric Clapton on Live Aid.
She's the real deal.
Yeah. And
she's the real deal.
Yes, and she did Behind the Sun. She was on that album. And the last 30 years, she's been with Bob Seger. And she also toured after Lowell George died for 7 years with Little Feat as their lead singer.
Wow.
So she's the bomb, and she goes in and she knows theory, and she can tell you, no, I want a flat at third there. She's like, I was like, wow, you know stuff. This is so good.
Right.
Of course she knows stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did the vocals, and like I said, I kept the basic tracks real loose because I didn't want any of my guitar to step on the vocals.
Right.
So then I got done with the vocals. Then I came back in, redid my rhythm tracks, and did all my guitar tracks around the lead vocals.
Always better when the lead vocals.
Yeah, because they're the priority. They should be the priority,
Yeah.
So we weren't going for some like Steve Vai, Satriani record.
Right,
we were going for something. So, and it's kind of blues rock. I've kind of arrived at that's what I do. I'm a blues rock kind of player.
Right.
Because even as a kid, I grew up and I listened to Albert King, and Johnny Winter was a huge influence on me. And the Blues Breakers, Eric Clapton, was huge influences. So from then, of course, the Van Halen seeped in and the blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And also, when I was really young, I love Grand Funk Railroad, too.
Me too.
Like everybody.
We talked about that
first
on
concert
our podcast.
my brother and I went to down here. Real concert was Grand Funk Railroad and Blood Rock.
That's right. They were always still on the same label, so they toured together.
Blood Rock. DOA, baby.
DOA, yeah.
We were talking about it, when Farner walked out on stage, they were using those West amps. He had the Epiphone with the duct tape over the holes. He walked out and went like this, and me and my brother looked at each other and went, oh, we're doing this. I think I was in 8th grade and he was in 6th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
My dad took us.
And he was very impressive. I mean, because he had the look, he had the real long hair and the muscles, and the girls were going crazy. Even though it's funny because I never really started playing guitar for the girls. I actually started playing guitar because I absolutely loved guitar.
Right.
And what happened, it was a wacky spin-off that, especially back then, that by playing guitar, somehow girls gravitated towards you, and I kind of didn't like that because some of the same girls that I liked in high school that I was like, wow, this girl's so cool. They wouldn't even talk to me, and then I played, and then they go, wow, I never knew, you know, and then it's like,
you didn't like me before, but you like me now.
Yeah. Then they'll have sex with me. I'm like, I don't like the premise, but I'm not stupid. I will have sex. I will have sex with you because you like the way I play guitar. But I wish you would have done it before that.
Yeah.
So whatever. So, but anyway, back to the record. So I wanted to get this out, and it was really on a time thing. I didn't have a lot of time because, I
had to start gigging again.
Cover bands, So I wanted to kind of get my name out there, and so this kind of does with these songs, and I'm promoting it. Sean is helping me. Her manager's helping me somewhat, and it's starting to get some airplay around. And finally, now we've released it on all the social media, on Spotify and through CD Baby, and so if you like Sweat and Pray, you can get it this way. Or you can go to JIMIFIANO.com, order a CD, or you can download any one of these songs from my website, along with other merchandise.
Well, let me ask you this. So, as simple as this. So, the 4 guys that you had that were at the Bamboo, because I used to go and see you there, and me and you were talking the whole time. So, Muggy never knew Muff. Muff never knew RG. And those 3 guys only met because of your jam night?
Pretty much, except one time, or maybe 2 times, Steve Argy did fill in for Fernando with the big rock band. So they got a little taste.
So he knew Muff.
Okay.
So Muggy, what's Muggy's real name? I didn't even know Muggy.
Well, his real name is Mark Leach.
Yeah, that's what you said earlier. Mark Leach.
Right.
So the 4 of you get together, you realize you want to do a CD, you go to the studio, you get them to lay down these songs. Once you lay down, you have them on a Pro Tools or whatever you have, and then you send them up to her.
No,
and then you went up there.
Well, yeah, we did send them up to her,
But you flew
I
up
went
to-
up there
yeah.
too.
Right, so you went up there, you had all the tracks, you didn't need to really manipulate too much of that. You just went up there to get the vocals, the backups. Now you have the product in hand. Now you get it mastered or no? You get it
Well,
mastered?
no, because then I had the vocals.
gotta come back up
So then
and-
I came back, I overlaid more guitars, and I
Right.
actually, Mark Leach, Muggy was not on the CD. It's all guitar.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's just
you didn't put no Hammond on there?
There's no, it's just layered guitar.
No, I'm just busting.
I
but
had
anyway.
my reasons.
No, listen.
I had my reasons. And have you ever done stuff where you've depended on more people, and then in the end, those people aren't there for you?
Well, of
I'm not
course.
saying Muggy. Muggy
No.
was never introduced to the project, but I
Yeah,
kind of have
absolutely.
this mentality now over the years of people letting me down.
You know
And
who
I-
you
yeah.
can count on.
Yeah, so I
And
was
if you
like,
keep the circle small,
yeah. Then you
you're
can
good.
recreate that
Yeah.
and all that kind of. So I was like, listen, man, I'm just going to do this like this. And as I was doing it, my mind was open to that. I was like, if when I get done, I decide I need harmonica or I need fucking keyboards,
Go back
I'll
and
do
do
it.
it.
But when I get done, I was like, fuck, this shit's full as fuck. I don't need nothing.
Yeah. So when you did it, you finished it at the studio where they contracted you, right? Is that what was that?
That was at Power Station. Yeah,
Power Station.
I did all the tracks.
So you did the tracks there, and then do you actually get it mastered? I mean, is the master
Yeah,
process?
then hang on. Then what we did,
Yeah.
we went to Steve Gordon's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Steve Gordon, our friend.
Steve
There's
Gordon.
gonna be-
Stevie.
There's going to be hopefully a guest here soon.
So
Go ahead.
we went to his place in Miami, and he's got the ears, man. And I've known him forever too. I've known him since I come back from California, which since I was 22. That's
Wow.
when we met. And he was following back then. Barry Mraz was alive.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
and
Wasn't that who was that Quad Rate? No.
Yeah, it was Quad Radio.
Quad, yeah.
Quad DB.
Yeah.
All those little circles. Studio
Yeah.
Center was there at the time.
Audio Vision was down
and
there.
of Criteria, of course.
Yeah.
They were all in that little area.
Yeah.
So I met Barry because when I first came back from California, I came with a girl that I met in Phoenix. When I lived in California, but I played a lot in Yuma and Phoenix and all that kind of stuff. So I met a girl in Phoenix, and we were all in love and shit. So we lived together in California, and then we moved back here. And so I started working for my sister, and we were living in Coconut Grove at my sister's house. And so we were my girlfriend at the time, her name was Victoria. She had worked in a bank, and she was very proficient, even though she was like, I don't know, maybe 20, 21 years old. She had already done all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So Jody, remember that girl? What's her name? Jody. She was married. She's married to. She's gonna kill me. She's a singer, and she was a receptionist at Doc McGee's, and so then she goes, "Well, we need another receptionist." I said, "Well, I got the girl for you." So my girlfriend started working there. So what my intention was is she would work there, and at the time, the only thing he was only
I already
managing.
know where you're going.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna go like, hey, just so happens I play guitar, And they only managed Pat Travers back then.
Right.
And so, and Mars and everybody,
Yep.
they were all, that whole crew was there. So that was, I forgot where we were going with this exactly.
Keith Cronin was in that bit. Who else was that bit?
Well, it was before that.
Way before that.
Yeah.
What about the guy from Ozzy?
It was Tommy Aldridge.
Tommy Aldridge.
Tommy
yeah,
Aldridge,
yeah.
yeah.
It was just after Nico McBrain. Yes, it was Tommy Aldridge. Nico
So where we were going? You were going when you were at the studio before you got it mastered.
Steve Gordon.
So that's where I met
Gordon's.
Barry Mraz, because Barry Mraz was under the protective wing of Doc McGee Enterprises.
Right,
So
right.
and Barry Mraz at that point had already engineered and co-produced by Styx, Grand Illusion, Crystal Ball, all of the bad motherfucking the whitest of white, and also Ohio Players, Skin Tight, Fire,
Wow.
Love Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
So he had the funk stuff down too.
Yeah.
And he was a very meticulous engineer. He was one of those guys, he had to use virgin tape.
Oh yeah.
One take shit. If you didn't get it right,
Yep.
bring in another roll of tape.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he was real meticulous that way. So Steve Gordon was kind of an understudy. He followed him around, and he'll even admit that his biggest influences were Barry Mraz as far as engineering techniques go.
Right.
So Steve just man, he's got he's got a bunch of platinum records under his belt as an engineer, and he's just.
I've been to his studio.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Yeah.
The albums are the gold albums and the platinums and who he's been involved with and who he's engineered is just unbelievable.
Well, and now he just did that Morgan Wallen guy or whatever his name is. And that guy's #1.
Well, Morgan's he's selling,
and he's been with Private Stock for 27 years.
Yeah, and he does that.
I first saw Steve.
And Wolfgang
is when I saw him.
And I used to go watch him because he would play that Steely Dan stuff. I think he had an SG.
Yeah. He's a badass.
And he would make these. I remember seeing him at the Treehouse. I think I was in Harvest, and he would make these faces when he played, and it was just so cool. I used to look at me, and go, man, it was just spot on.
He's always been a great guitar player.
Great, absolutely
great. So when we talked about him mixing the record, he goes, "Come on, dude. I'm a guitar player. You don't think the guitars are going to sound good?" I go, "I know it's going to sound great. Let's do it." So he mixed it. So here's the process, right? Huge Neve board, great engineers at Power Station, already in, sounding great.
Right.
Okay.
Recorded everything there.
Yeah. So then we go up, we do vocals, great microphone, great mic pre, and so that's sounding great too. We come back, do some more guitar tracks. Go over to Steve. He's got all top-notch gear, some SSL stuff, some all kind of shit. He's got all the stuff. So then we get done there, and at that point, Steve's like, I could master this. And I said, yeah, I know, but you know what? I think I'm gonna have to go with Mike Fuller. So I go with another guy, the top of the,
Mike's great.
So the food chain was huge.
That guy has to be around. He mastered my first CD.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm talking about 1988 or 89 when we did the record. We did it in Tampa. Well, I mean, I'm thinking he wasn't based in Tampa. I don't know if we sent it out back then. I don't even know how long. God, that's 100 years ago. But Mike Fuller mixed the first Heartless. It's like 5-6 song EP. So he's been around for.
You know who introduced me to Mike?
Who's that?
Jimmy Einer.
Oh my God! Really?
When Jimmy started, before he started the Dirty Dancing project, I was doing a project with my band, my brother, a couple other guys with Jimmy, and Mike was still at Criteria upstairs.
That's right. Yeah.
And so Jimmy says, "I want you to go meet this good friend of mine. We play golf all the time, and blah blah blah." And I go down. We became good buddies right away. So he got us recording like overdubs and stuff at Criteria.
Nice.
And I thought we were literally kids. I mean, if we were, I don't even 18, 19, maybe 21. I don't even remember. But we hit it off then, and then later he worked on all the Eric Carmen stuff for the So I was down there with him. But his birthday was just, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and we keep saying, "Dude, we got to get together. We got to get together."
I know, it's so hard. I know. Yeah. And speaking of that even though this has nothing to do with me, but that whole Dirty Dancing thing, remember Mark Scola.
I'm the one who got the song on.
Yeah. So he did the song that was on the flip side of the 45 of Hungry Eyes.
Yep.
So he got the same money that the guy got that did Hungry Eyes.
I can tell you the money story, dude.
Who did that song again? Hungry Eyes?
Eric Carmen.
I was actually at Criteria.
All by myself.
Oh, no, yeah. That was an MTV video, too.
Yeah.
I was at Criteria when he was cutting that.
So that was...
Jimmy was down.
That was
the main song for... Well, it's one of the main songs.
I think Dirty Dancing, the record sold like 12 million copies or more.
Dude. They were at... I think my record says 4 million. They had to get up to... They did an anniversary at 40 million, I think. And Mike mastered every reissue. He mastered the original.
Man, and that's back when things were paying.
Yeah. No, I know the money that Mark made from it because nobody took any publishing. Mark was the single writer. Okay.
He made sick money.
Jimmy didn't take any. He hired a lawyer in New York, took 10% just to keep going after the money. Okay. I got a chunk in the beginning. Then Mark and I worked together for the next, 3 or 4 years on my project.
Yeah, you guys did other stuff. Yeah.
Where's that chunk at now?
Long gone, man.
Long gone?
That was 86.
And you know what? Mark, when that all was coming down, Mark was still working at Ace Music.
Well, you want to hear that?
He said, "See ya."
Listen, when I was, you remember Joey Jelf with the whole
Yeah,
document? Well,
sure.
I was in Joey Jelf's studio doing something to send to Doc McGee.
Right.
Okay. And I see up on his cassette recorder, Mark Scholl. I go, "I know that guy. What's that?" He said, "Oh, it's a song he did." I go, let me hear it, because Mark was great. It was Mark, Wayne Hood.
Yeah, all the cats. Yeah.
And so they were a little older than me, and I weren't good friends with them. But anyway, real quick story. So Joey puts this thing in, and I hear this a cappella intro, like 3/4 thing. I want to know. And all these horns come in, and I'm going, whoa. I go, this would be great for a movie. And Joey's looking at me going, what movie? I go, it's called Dirty Dancing. This friend of mine's doing it, blah, blah, blah. And he just looked at me like, yeah, whatever. I go, do you mind if I take that? I send it to Einer. Einer gets it. He goes, I remember him calling me on the phone. He goes, I love it. A cappella intro. So originally they were going to get Billy Vera or Huey Lewis to cut the song.
Billy Vera.
But anyway,
wow, I remember
back
that
to
name
Mark.
too.
Mark's at Ace Music. I drive down to Ace. Mark's out front, his high top sneakers kind of untied, smoking. Hey, man, what's happening? I go, I got this friend. You know me, I'm on fire. I got this friend, man. He's doing a movie. I think your song would be great for it. He goes, send it. It's been in my kitchen or living room for 6 months. Nothing's going to happen with it. I sent it. 6 figures, the first check. I don't want to tell you how much 2 weeks later. Just as a kind of like, yeah, we're using the song.
Yeah. And
It
then
was-
it just kept rolling like
Which
that.
was what?
Over $100,000.
No, what was the name of the song? What was it?
Where are you tonight?
Oh, I was going to say, we didn't get that
and
part.
plus, I think it's in one of those scenes where it's so buried kind of in the back, you don't hardly even hear it.
I think it's where
Oh.
baby's walking across the bridge
Yeah.
with the watermelon.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, back to your thing.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
yeah,
do
yeah.
this. Let's do this. Let's take 5.
Take
Yes,
5.
that's cool.
We're gonna take 5, and we're gonna go to commercial.
Come back with
Stick
crazy
around. We
stuff.
got Jimi Fiano. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Keith Ridenour here from Soundcheck with Ridenour and Robinette. Just want to tell you about Red One Music Group, which is my publishing group. And if you're interested or want to get into songwriting or need songs recorded, arranged, produced, mixed, etc., feel free to check out some of the artists, singer-songwriters in particular, that we've worked with and written with and produced, etc. If you go to redonemusicgroup.com, there's plenty of things to check out. All right, thanks for checking out Soundcheck with Ridenour and Robinette.
Okay, welcome back to Soundcheck with Ridenour and Robinette. We're excited that everybody decided to come on into our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the subscribe button, you chime in, leave a comment. You want to ask Jimmy a question, or maybe you have a comment that you want to make, whatever it may be, leave a comment below. We'd love to have you subscribe as well. I want to thank Jason Setaway. You're doing a fine job, our producer and our engineer,
J-Money.
Jason. And here we are, once again, back with our friend
Jimi Fiano.
Jimi Fiano showing off.
He's ripping.
So I'm going to ask if you could put the guitar down. I just
Well,
wanted to
actually,
give you-
that right there,
Yes.
that's the riff to Sweat and Pray. And that's exactly what happens in the song.
Snap the
The
fingers.
snaps.
Oh!
Wow. That was a moment. That was a moment.
And it's funny because I did it and there was nothing in between. And I told Muff, Steve, and me, I said, let's get all around and do some finger snaps. And they go, what? Really? I said, yeah. And then I did it, and Monkey
Let me
goes,
go get the
ooh,
drum.
double
Let me go
it.
get my drum. Hang on.
So, boom, that's
you
exactly
go.
what
There
happens.
you go,
That is
man.
exactly what happens on the song. How funny is that?
That was a sign.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
was a
No,
sign.
it was begging for it. It was begging for it. So we
And
put
Keith,
it
you
in.
didn't bring your guitar, man. You always got to bring your guitar. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're
The magic that might happen. Grab it, grab it.
Here we go.
I mean, let's listen. Muff ain't got nothing on me, bro.
No, not at all. What?
Give me the riff.
I woke up this morning with a loud knock upon my door. The landlord got my money, but now he says he's got to have more. You see, I'm trying my hardest. How can I give you much more proof?
Yeah, I like it already.
He said it don't matter if you like sleeping under my roof. Here we go. I cry out loud, sweat and pray every day. Sweat and pray, woo, my life away. All I ever
you go. That's how we do it in here.
That's
how we do it up in
The
here.
unplugged version, baby.
All right, next time you're on, I'm gonna bring a harmonica.
All right,
I'm
let's
getting the
do-
slide. I get my banjo out. You know.
Okay, so here's where we're going. You ready?
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, so a lot of folks chimed in and asked me a few questions to ask you. First, we want to start for the true Fiano fans who have been following you for years. Where did it start? Let's just go from where were you born at? What area? What city?
I was born in Tacoma Park, Maryland.
Tacoma Park, Maryland, which no one's ever heard
Silver
of.
Springs, you know, I mean, Maryland's so small, you could almost say DC.
So you were born there.
Right.
Were you raised there?
I wasn't raised there. I was raised here. I moved here. My parents moved here when I was like 4 or 5.
Where? What area?
So
Miami?
Miami for a moment.
And then would you end up
Then
Hollywood?
Miramar.
Is that where you grew up?
Yeah. Well, no. Listen, I did a few years in Miramar. Then my dad was a building contractor. So what he did is we moved to Griffin Road over in unincorporated Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So we sold the house in Miramar. He carved out a 40-foot boat slip, bought a 36-foot Chris Craft. I lived on that with my mom and dad while he built the house. And walked up to the end of the street and took the bus to Dania Elementary and later Olson, what they used to call junior high school. Yeah.
That's still there?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
middle
Holy
school.
cow, I remember that name,
They used
Olson.
to call it junior high school. So I went to Miramar Elementary for a little while. Then I went to Dania Elementary for a very brief time.
And Olson.
Olson and Hollywood Hills High School.
Did you graduate?
Yes.
Hollywood Hills?
Hollywood Hills,
Which is right
class
up the
of
Sheridan?
75, yeah.
Sterling? Or?
You
It's up
graduated in 75?
Sterling Road, yeah.
So did I. So the band I was in used to play Plantation High, and I want to say Hollywood Hills High. The band was called Black Watch. We used to play dances at those schools.
Yeah, there
down
was
there.
a gymnasium there,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, we were like this.
Yeah. We were all around it.
And then what happened after? So were you playing guitar in high school?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 7. So what
I
happened
gotcha.
is I had here I am saying I think I want to play guitar, right? So my sister goes to Mexico, brings back a guitar, and goes, here's a guitar from Mexico. And I go, oh, this is so cool. And I go, so I played guitar for a year like this, sitting down like this. Nobody told, and I go,
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, that's wild.
so then everyone goes, wow, that's really cool. And someone said to me,
Hey, buddy.
what happens when you stand up? And I went, oh, fuck.
That's good.
That is a great story. No kidding.
So I had to relearn guitar like this, right? So, and here's another funny story. So then my dad goes, well, you better take guitar lessons. So we lived right over by the curve in the Miramar where the city hall was there, over in the curve there, back when it was still Hondo Beach Boulevard. It wasn't no Miramar Parkway shit. So I took lessons from this guy that gave group lessons, this accordion player who I later found out my bass player, John O'Brien, took guitar lessons from. This guy, when I think about back then, he was this accordion player and he just looked like this hungover guy, like, oh, yeah. You know, like, play, you know. So we were in the Mel Bay Book 1 and everything, you know.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then I started like playing stuff a little bit. I started going like it, you know, and that kind of thing. And then I said, I want to start my own band. So I was in elementary school. I was like, I don't know, in 5th grade. So another guy played rhythm and I played lead, and then we got a drummer. We didn't have a bass player, but so that was like my first band. And we used to play in, you know, our parents each put up with us a little bit. Like I'd play in my garage and we'd play in the other kid's garage and the other kid's garage. So we did that for a while. And then I started getting better. And back then I was playing all that, you know,
Grand Funk right there.
yeah. You know, all the Grand Funk stuff.
Yeah.
And all that.
Oh, I love that.
You know, yeah. So it was
Inside looking out.
Yeah. All that. Yeah, so it was
like
badass. Yeah. So that's what we were playing, and we thought like it was like really cool. And then later, I was listening to Grand Funk, and I got a glimpse of Johnny Winter, and I went. I was like, I just like went, oh my
now,
God.
let's just slow it down. Did you see him live? Did you see him in a magazine? Did you hear him on the radio?
Well, okay. First, I heard him like on like a record,
The
right?
live record,
So,
the Johnny Winter.
No, wait a minute. Better than that. So my dad was in charge of the maintenance at Pirates World Amusement Park.
Oh.
That was my first concert.
Yeah.
So every week I got 4 free tickets to Pirates World.
Oh.
So I was at Johnny Winter and live when it got recorded, bitch.
Wow. Was Rick Derringer playing too?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Now, wait a second. Are
I
you
think
talking
I
about
was
like
at Pirates World.
78,
No,
70s?
more like 71 or 2 or something
Oh
like
my God, you guys are old as dirt. What do you
Oh,
mean? Were you
dude,
like 3?
My parents had to drop me off at the show. It wasn't like I drove my Cadillac
My
there.
first concert I saw it there was, I was as a baby.
I was
Alice Cooper
14.
and Edgar Winter.
No, Grand Funk was my
Oh, you're
first
saying
one.
Johnny
I was 13.
Winter. I
So
thought
yeah,
Edgar
so
Winter.
it was a
Okay,
little
gotcha.
after that.
69.
So yeah, you know, Pirates World was kind of short-lived. So there was that whole steeplechase incident,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
rattlesnakes and all that.
Yeah.
But
I still remember that like it was yesterday. Oh my God, I remember that. Some kid got bit by a snake inside the thing, the roller coaster or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a steeplechase.
The steeplechase.
Steeplechase.
God, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're not dead yet.
So Johnny Winter, and then I have a brother that's 7 years older. We don't really talk very much, just because we just don't. But so in his bedroom, he had a 8-track tape of Albert King. So when he would leave, and he also had a bottle of Dewar's. So I used to sneak a little sip of Dewar's and sit back and go. And listen to Albert King. And then I knew my brother was like one of those guys that would like, at least I thought, you know, he would like beat my ass if I was in his room like fucking around, right? So I have to go with, you know how 8-track cassettes are. I had to go to the exact spot
And
it
go back
was.
to-
I was like, I think it was right there. And then I'd leave his room, right?
That's funny as shit.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
That's kind of like how I started.
How old were you around that? Were you a teenager
like
now?
14.
So you take a little sip. You're in there listening to the tunes. You got your guitar. Is it electric guitar yet or no? You're still on your acoustic?
I had an electric.
So you got an electric that your parents helped you buy?
Yeah, well, yeah. My parents bought me this one. There was this place in the Hollywood Mall on Park Road and Hollywood Boulevard called the House of Rhythm. It was a record store, and they had guitars on the wall. And what I thought as a kid, somebody told me that the more pickups it had, like the better it was.
Right.
So I found this one guitar, and I think it had 4 pickups. I'm like, oh, that's the one I want. I didn't even play it or nothing. And it was a Kawai. And the action was like this high, right? And I had black diamond strings on it. It was like, you couldn't even bend the strings. But I thought, wow, these adults are really tough. You know what I mean? So I got the guitar, and the action's really high, and I'm going, I want to play bar chords like grown-ups do, and I'm going like, So I managed to do it and play it like it didn't really totally kill me anymore after my fingers like bled and shit. So then I went to the music store and picked up like a regular guitar, and I'm like, and I was like, well, wow,
That's how it's
this is
supposed
like
to
a
play.
special
Yeah.
guitar. And I go, no, guitar just play like that.
Right.
So it kind of helped me in a way.
Yeah,
By,
you could press harder. You had to press harder.
Yeah. So I had this old Epiphone, I want to say Olympic, and it just played so good. So then I started buying Fender amps, and then I was playing around. I was playing like dances, like at the David Park.
You're still in high school now.
Yeah.
So when moving forward, so you're in high school, you're playing guitar, you're playing in different bands, and then let's move forward and get you right into like where's the first band where it was a real band,
and what was the name
real
of it?
players, what was the name of the band, and where did you get into the club thing
all
once you
right.
graduated?
So what happened with me is I was playing in like a rock cover band. I can't remember the name of it. We were playing in a warehouse. We could barely get arrested. We didn't even know how to get booked. We were, when you're young like that, you just can't figure shit out.
Was it guitar, bass, drums? By chance?
It was 2 guitars.
That's what I started with, 2. I didn't even know we needed a bass
One
player.
of the other guitar players was partners. He worked at Musicians Exchange.
Oh.
It might have been, but it was maybe pre-Musicians Exchange.
Okay.
So anyway, And Guido was the drummer.
No shit.
Yeah, we were.
You played with Guido that long ago?
I've known Guido since. Yeah, Guido used to pick me up for rehearsal. I was like 15, so he was 16 or 17.
Wow.
So he would pick me up and we would go to rehearsal. At that time, I had a fucking 50-watt Marshall with an 810 cabinet.
Oh, I remember those.
You can't even
cabinets.
find those. If you tell kids that you had an 810 cabinet, they laugh. They go, "No such thing." I'm like, dude, get a life, bro.
Yeah.
There was fucking 810 cabinets. You just don't know about this shit. You know, all these people that think they know shit.
Guido, who ended up in, I only know him from what, Freewheel?
Well,
Right.
okay.
That's the only place I know him.
Yes.
I'm not moving forward, but he was your drummer. No, like
Yeah.
real drummer.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you guys had a band.
So we had a band. So at that point, I joined another rock band and they didn't really work either. So I really liked funk though too. So I wanted to play funk and I joined this all black band, 10 pieces, 4 horns. All the horn players were Florida A&M music majors. They were all in their 30s and they taught music in high school. And we rehearsed back in that neighborhood behind the swap shop, behind that move.
On Sunrise.
Yeah,
In the
back
hood?
in there. Yeah.
In the hood?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
back where we placed it that, you know, you didn't hardly even really want to go. But, you know, and this was early 70s.
Not too far away from your old studio. Not too
This is
far away.
mid 70s. This is like
Yeah.
74 or 75. So,
Yeah.
and they
So
schooled,
we were 17, 18 at that point.
they would school me. I was 16, I think, something like that. They schooled me, man, like crazy. And I was in a big band. So you know how when you get in a band at first and like everybody's like, you know, you get in a band, everybody's going like, you know, and you're like, shut up, we're trying to learn a song, right? So those guys went, hey, and they go, you don't think we all want to play right now? If we all did it, we ain't gonna get nothing done. Shut the fuck up, we're learning songs. I was like,
No noodling is what you're getting at.
yeah,
No
he was
noodling. That don't
absolutely
happen in
right.
my.
Yeah.
you can't
I
have it
can't
in a
have it in my
rehearsal.
rehearsals either.
It's- you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so even when I'm with the big rock band or whoever I'm rehearsal with, and people start doing that, I go back to it. That was so ingrained in me. I'm like, yeah, I'd really love to play some silly fucking song right now too, but like we're going over this.
Yeah.
You know, so
So that was a moment where you started to realize, okay, you're going to play with other cats, especially this many.
Let's rehearse.
Let's rehearse, do the work at home, come and put the pieces together.
Yeah.
So this is a growing process
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So this is
and-
one of the first real bands that you're in,
Real-
where there's
yeah.
actually an MD or someone who's,
yeah.
know, has a vision
You
of
got
what
4
they
music
want.
makers.
well, yeah, and
formula.
let me tell you about those guys, man. So we would go. They go, all right. Before we go into the studio, we're gonna all come over to my house and we're gonna work on these tunes. So the one guy, they all could do this though. But so like one of the sax players will put on a record, and they go, and then he go E major 7, D minor 9, and I'm going, how are you doing that? He goes, well, I know this is an E flat, so relatively this has got to be an E major 7 because I know the distance. And, you know, so I learned that from him. So I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. So it's like, you know, so I learned that from
Right,
him,
right.
man. So I learned so much from those guys. So, but the thing is when we played all black clubs, we played Bucky's, we played the Downbeat Club, we
remember
played
the
the
Downbeat.
Galaxy in Miami. And I was the only white dude. Guido sometimes was the drummer in that too. But Chubbs was the drummer back then too. Chubb passed away not too long ago. He was in KC and all that. But so that was a big school. And so from that, I got the confidence, believe it or not, you guys are going to laugh. But I went and I joined a disco band. And I learned so much from disco because, you know, after playing, you know, or whatever, you know, like whatever rock tunes you're playing. After playing rock tunes, and then all of a sudden you're going, you know,
Right. Heaven.
yeah. There's none of that in rock and roll. So you're coming from here, and all my friends are going, disco sucks. I said, you know what? Play that shit, and you tell me. Play it and tell me you hate it. But you got to play it first.
Well,
Nobody
for
can play
the
it.
listeners or the kids that are out there that don't know what disco is, look it up because you don't hear the word disco on this podcast too often. Look up disco and you'll look some of the big. I mean, Saturday Night Fever. What were some of the big
dancing
bands back
stuff.
then?
Yeah, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Well, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel was great.
Tavares,
Yeah,
yes. Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Huge.
Big disco band.
Yeah.
You know,
I
our local.
wanna put on.
Donna Summer.
Yeah, all that stuff. There's a bunch of them. But so I learned a lot. And then rock started making money again. So we put this band together. It was Guido, me, Mike Nadioka, and Matt Stanley on vocals.
I know.
God.
This is Coma.
Rest in peace.
It was Coma. It was
Coma.
That is where I kind of came into this.
Now Free Will was already an entity without a front man. Ronnie, the keyboard player, was the front man. Matt Stanley was our front man.
And Matt Stanley eventually.
Yeah. So we did a trio with him. People would come in. We were young and just fucking full of it. You know, I was playing real fast.
Didn't he play flute too? Flute sax?
He played flute. Yeah, he played not the greatest sax, but he didn't play sax back then. But he played flute very good.
He was great at flute.
Yeah, so we did Tull and all that, of course. You know, we did,
Yeah. Yes.
We did that.
Killed it.
Yeah, and he had this falsetto. He could sing Barracuda, bro. Like fucking Liz Adams.
He was a rock star back then.
Yeah, he was
my day.
He was a total rock star.
He was the absolute best front man anywhere down here at that time.
He was real chatty.
What around year is
this
that?
Was probably
Coma,
70,
like late 70s?
Yeah, late 70s, 77, 78.
Yeah, right in there.
It's getting a little closer. Though.
Right about that.
I remember that.
And at that time, you know, he was 5 years older than me. People were, you know, my head was getting inflated a little bit. You know, people were saying, "Oh, you're the fucking greatest." You know what I mean? And other guitar players were getting jealous, and you know, I kind of knew what I was doing, but you know, there was always guitar's work in progress.
Yeah.
You never know what you're doing.
There's always more stuff to learn.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah, take it. Right?
Hey, Ezo, I'm in the middle of a podcast. Can I call you back?
Who's Ezo?
Okay, all right, bye. There you go.
Who's Ezo? I want to know.
Ezo.
Oh, yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere,
From
that guy.
Big Rock. Yeah, no, he's been around forever too, man. That's another dude.
I never saw him until I saw him on your stage. I was
you know who his dad used to play with? Lionel Hampton.
Really?
No kidding. His dad?
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we?
So let me help you. Let me help you go forward because we only have a certain amount of time. I want to make sure I get it all in. So once you got this band, you got Coma going, Matt Stanley, then you get into the later all the clubs that I kind of go back to. I'm guessing a lot of stuff on the beach, Fort Lauderdale Beach, a Treehouse, Rock Casino. A lot of these places.
We were the kings of Rock Casino.
Big Daddies.
Yeah.
You and Pearl.
Big Daddies. So
the Big Daddy circuit. So anyway, so me and Matt got into this tremendous fight.
And that was that.
And so we were playing somewhere. We were playing at a Big Daddy's in Orlando, and you know, I always like when I was on the road, I like to see what the music stores are and shit. You know, and we used to play over in Sarasota, a place called Foley's, and some other places over there. So we were there, and I was all hungover, and we were in the middle of a fight. So I'm just like sitting on top of an amp playing, and some guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you wouldn't be interested in joining like a 50s show band and moving to Denver, would you?" And I go, "Yeah." So.
No kidding. When's this? Early 80s?
This was still like in 78.
Right.
So I could get the contact information. I go back, they send me a bunch of tapes of the show, and I learned all this, you know. Whatever. I learned all that kind of stuff. And they fly me, their first gig is in New Orleans, back where there was still Fat City. And I played in Fat City. We did 3 weeks at a place called The Place. Wow. And then we drove over, and I lived in Denver for like 6 months.
So that was the end of Coma there.
Well, no, it wasn't the end of Coma because George Mazzola took my place. And they went on afterwards.
Oh, my goodness.
And poor Mazzola, after he joined the band, you know, Mike Nadioka and those guys kept going, "Well, Jimmy didn't do it like that. Well, Jimmy didn't." And he was like, "I don't ever care. This is how I do it." You know what I mean? So, you know, it's tough when you come in with somebody I always tell, it's so hard. You remember the last guy's last days and the new guy's first days, and you can't compare them.
Right.
Because the last guy's last days aren't the same as the last guy's first days. He wasn't so great at it either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So whatever.
Yeah.
So they gave him a bunch of shit, and I feel bad for what, you know, we talked about all that later. So then from there, I had a girlfriend that I met here way back when she was my steady girlfriend. We were on, off. So she moved out to California. Her dad was like vice president of Sealy Posturepedic. So she moved out to LA, and we were talking about getting back together. And plus she lived in LA. So I was like, yeah. So I moved out there, and I started looking. There was a thing out there called the Recycler, a paper out there that had bands wanted, guitar player, I didn't even have a car. I had my amp stored somewhere, and I would go on the bus for auditions in downtown LA. So this one band was called Dame, and they needed a second guitar player. So I went and I wound up joining it. I wound up playing in a lot of bands out there, but in that very first band, the guy who was the other guitar player, his name was Randy Burns, who went on to be the producer. He produced Megadeth's Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, Nuclear Assault, all kinds of like death metal and metal back then. But he was actually a very well-rounded guitar player, just a couple years older than me. And then later, I played in some other bands. I knew George Lynch pretty well, a little bit. Back, he was still in a band called Exciter. Randy Rhoads was still in Quiet Riot. We used to go to the Starwood all the time.
No kidding.
You know, I looked like Richie Blackmore, so after I figured out that I looked like Richie Blackmore, because everybody told me that, I used to just go up to the front of the lines and just give them that pouty look.
And you got to find these pictures. I'll send you the pictures when you do the podcast.
Yeah.
You got some classics. You got to send me some of those.
I will. So, and it's funny because I showed my son a picture of Richie Blackmore, and he goes, "Is that you?" I go, "No, it's Richie Blackmore." Wow, that looks just like you. And the pictures you showed me when you were a kid. So, so I was in a band that was actually managed and got a salary, and it was Randy Burns, the other guitar player, Mark Drebay, who went on to be the drummer in Survivor, who actually is the drummer who played on Eye of the Tiger and played on the Vital Signs record, played all their big hits. And so, you know, but we had a girl singer, and back then, a girl singer was the kiss of death. It was just the start of MTV, and there was like, you know, Pat Benatar, and like, that's it.
Right.
You know, motels and we don't want too many of them back then, you know. So it's just really weird, you know, how, you know, and then I came back here. I started running out of money. The gigs weren't enough to pay my bills. I came back here, and that's when I met Steve Gordon and Barry Mraz and everybody, and lived with my sister and brought the girl back, and, you know, and then I pounded around town here a little bit doing gigs. You know, I was going through this thing where I was like, yeah, I can do originals. And then I was going like, you know what? No, you can't. Fuck that shit. Nobody can do originals. You know, I'm not going to play for nothing. And it's impossible. So then I would just give up and I would play covers. Right. And then you know, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care. I've got something to say. I want to get it out there.
Absolutely.
You know, and I want to just try.
What's the name of a couple of just throw names out. Not even the history, just the names of some of the bands through the 80s, 90s that you were involved with for a period of time. I mean, I know a few of them, but I just figured maybe you would share.
Rockestra and
Rockestra.
and Rocks.
And
I
Rocks.
replaced Yul Vaz when he left, and he became a big movie star and shit.
Yeah, he played the Black Les Paul, didn't
he? He's got a huge resume. Have you ever seen his
discography? No, he's been on a million things. He was on you know, Wear the Ribbon.
Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
He was in the
Seinfeld. Yeah, but he has a bunch of movies. I didn't realize how. And dude,
why
isn't it funny? Isn't that weird? Like I see this guy playing on stage at Treehouse, and like 40 years later,
he's a big guy. Yeah, he was in this show they did. It was a mini series on I don't know, in the 50s in Miami, and it like took place in the Fontainebleau, and he was like a head waiter.
Yeah,
in there. He was like a lad,
you know. Of movies.
It must have been the first studio we had where he used to come in. At the time, was his girlfriend a singer too?
She was a manager type.
That's who it was.
Yeah. And
it's all coming back to me, man.
That band?
Yeah.
With Ike and Charlie?
Yeah. And actually, I did recordings with Charlie in New York.
I'm still friends with Tracy on Facebook.
Yeah, Tracy. When Tracy left, Mark Lauren replaced him, who owns the other studio. Yeah, Mark. You know Mark.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Mark was the singer, and I was the guitar player, and it was Charlie and Ike. And Ike, what a disappointment, because that guy was such a monster drummer.
What happened? What happened?
Well, he died. He died a few years back.
I
don't know exactly of what.
Yeah, but I saw him. Was it with you at Flossie's? Like he did
that was Pyro. He played with Pyro.
He played Pyro for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, he played with
Well, I mean,
Pilot
he
a
was in
lot.
the band for
Yeah,
just
he was
a very short
He was
period.
a funny guy too.
Bro, come on, well, you gotta help me out. You gotta feed the bear. Come
He's
on,
the one
bro.
who first,
You know,
he's the one who introduced the North drums, and he had the drums
yeah,
with
he
the
did.
tubes.
Oh, that's
when we were
right.
kids,
you guys,
man.
they look like calzones, like your mother's underwear.
Oh my god, dude! Ike
We used to
and
rehearse at
Charlie.
Mary Fleming's place in North
Oh, yeah,
Miami,
yeah.
MSR. Yeah.
So you played through the '80s and through the '90s with all these different bands.
Yeah.
And you just kept going and drilling and hitting. And you played with Steve over the years with Tripod.
Yep.
And you played with Kevin Kelly.
Uh-huh.
And you were with Jimmy Jack, rest in peace.
Yes,
Jimmy
yes.
Jack, that must have been a really
It was a blast. It was a blow when he died. It was it was
Oh, I
because
remember.
you know, that's one thing about our business that we're in is, you know, the downside is, you know, so many people and you play with so many cats. And let's face it, the way that you're playing now, you playing literally from hundreds or sometimes thousands of people in 1 week. And you know these people. And then unfortunately, some of us, we get older or sick.
You wake up one day
And you're like,
you find out.
and I know Jimmy Jack, and there's several
Yep.
people that don't know him, but people
and,
here
and
locally
also,
will
you know,
know.
there's a whole undercurrent with that too. I mean, let's not forget, I did, you know, Billy Livesay got me. I did Foghat gigs,
Right.
you know,
Right,
and sub
yeah.
for Tommy, and then through that, I did work with Miguel and Brian Howe
Brian
with the
for a
Bad
few minutes,
Company
right.
stuff too.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Brian
And-
used to rehearse at the first studio.
You know, yeah. So and then you know, I also did stuff with Mark Stein and Vanilla Fudge.
Yep.
You know, and we're still friendly to this day.
Yeah.
you know?
I remember when you did the show.
So-
It was very exciting. You did it at some corporate event. It was huge. The shitload of people there.
Yeah, at that like big theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
That
you
was
and Steve and
Jimmy Jack. And
Jimmy
Mark
Jack,
Stein,
that's
man.
right.
Because Jimmy Jack loved Carmine a piece.
Right.
So he could play just like him. He had that behind the beat kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he really he had that down. And he sang, you know, he fucking sang like unbelievable.
yeah, he sang all the
You know,
Zeppelin
when
and all that stuff behind the drums.
while
yeah.
he's playing like Bonham.
Yeah.
It was
What
crazy.
was it just came back to me. When I was in Black Watch, Jimmy Jack, we played a gig together at Cardinal Gibbons High School. What was the band he had?
Was it called the Jones Boys?
No. It was the guitar player. He used to hang out at Modern Music all the time. Played the 345s. He used to play, he'd do the melodies with chords. Benji King was the lead vocal who went on to play with Scandal.
These some old boys here, man.
Anyway.
Well, I know what was it? I know
Gotta
when he
feel
was in
young right
Wolfgang,
now.
that sax player left and went to play with Hall & Oates.
Oh,
And-
anyway, I remember him coming out behind the drums and doing that Chicago song. We can make it happen. We can make it happen. Yeah, all a cappella.
Yeah.
He was laying in front of his kick drum singing on the Cardinal Gibbons gymnasium floor, and we were on the other end.
Oh, my
Because we
God.
went back and forth, and I was just going, oh my God,
no.
these guys are like, we are in deep shit.
Yeah.
What was that band?
I don't know. And I remember even
Dang.
as a kid hearing of him, and then when I heard him, I was like, wow, what everybody said is so true. This guy is like
I
unbelievable.
recorded a project. He played drums. I believe Steve played bass. It was at the original Ridenour Studios.
Yeah.
it was a
Well,
blast.
you know
funny
what?
when you have a bass player or a drummer and you meet him at a young age, you stick it out and you're playing with them 20, 30
Oh, it was
years
crazy.
ago.
It was
I mean,
crazy.
Think about that, man. If you met Guido at that young age, what's the chances that you're still
well,
playing
you know,
with
I
him?
mean,
That's
we were
crazy.
on and off because then when he did Freewheel,
No,
you know,
I
I did
know.
other stuff. But
He did The Storm.
And then the other thing is too, Guido's is still a really good drummer, man, because it's like when I go out, like say if I get like, I mean, we're like a married couple and it's like, you know, I want to like cheat on him and find another drummer, you know, but it's hard to find a guy as good as Guido. I mean, he's a really good drummer.
Yeah.
As much as we go, you know what I mean? But it's still.
Do you
he's a
do
great
more of that
drummer.
with him or more of that with John?
Well, we have our time, both of us.
I'm just busting.
All of us.
Listen, John
But-
ain't never going to watch this, so I don't give a shit.
But you know, it's
Oh,
funny.
you never know.
So like I met Mark Stein through Jimmy Jack was already friendly with Mark. So
Okay.
they did this movie called Rockin' the Wall about how rock and roll helped break down the Berlin Wall. So this is when I first went into Power Station. And so it was RG, Jimmy Jack, me, and Mark Stein. And so they brought in a 6-man film crew and filmed us doing the making of the Rockin' the Wall. So even if you look at the trailer, Rockin' the Wall, we're all in it. But if you look at the movie, we're in it a lot.
Oh, wow.
Rock,
That's
so
cool.
tell me the name of that. Rock in the Wall?
Rockin' the Wall. Like
Rockin' the Wall?
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to see where you go on YouTube and see
you can
something
go
like
on
that?
YouTube and look up the trailer.
And what's the concept behind? What is
The
it?
premise is how it helped break down the Berlin Wall, rock and roll.
Oh,
because people
no
listening
kidding.
to rock and roll
Oh.
behind with their little
Yeah, yeah.
radios, and you know what I mean. And you know, there's a whole like documentary on how it happened, and Mother's Finest is in it.
Oh.
And so yeah, there's a few bands in it, you know, from our.
Oh, I got to check that out.
Okay,
So tell us, and everybody watching, what is it that you're currently doing right now? So right now you're just gigging. You got the big rock band. You got Jimi Fiano band, which is a trio.
Yep.
And so every week you're playing different spots, different places, different locations. If someone wants to come see your band,
Yes.
or they just simply go on Facebook.
They can go to jimifiano.com. I try to keep current every week, but I also do duos with, like, say, Charlie Sullivan and Shaky T.
Yeah, love
You know,
love
with
that.
Terry. You know,
I love Terry.
and
if
it's
you ever get a chance,
He's a good
You guys still
man.
doing CJs on Sundays?
yeah, we do. We're not this one because it's Easter Sunday, but yeah, we still do
So
it every
CJ
Sunday.
Black's for you folks out there, just want to get an earful of talent. CJ Black's on Sunday afternoons. What's that shift usually? 1 o'clock?
It's usually 1 to 4.
1 to 4 on Sunday, of course.
Out in Davie. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you have the big rock band, which is maybe once a month or once every couple months.
Twice a month. Yeah.
And that's and what a great lineup.
Yeah,
Powerhouse rock band. If you're interested, go see them. Look at the big rock band.
8-piece band, great.
And Jimi Fiano band. You could also see you on Facebook as well.
Instagram.
And for the folks that want to know what you got coming, so you're going to stick doing what you're doing right now. You're doing the cover tune thing, and eventually you're going to hopefully record maybe another CD down the road.
That's the plan. I already have I have 8 tunes in my pocket, pretty much.
Okay, so I had a bunch of questions to ask. We're running out of time, but some of the questions that I had was your first concert.
Oh shit!
My
first concert was Coventry, Canned Heat, and Ted Nugent at the college.
FAU. My dad took us to that.
See, I asked the right question.
FAU.
I didn't. They asked the right question.
That was ours.
I know,
And
because your
Grand
dad
Funk.
managed Coventry.
Yeah, that's
so that
crazy.
was Coventry.
Frankie Benelli.
Frankie
You guys are
Benelli
old.
went on to join Quiet Riot, the drummer.
And John Verner
I wanted to
joined
surprise you with that
Skylark.
one.
John Verner joined Skylark.
So he did do it. I heard he was the guy that did the solo on "She's Faced the Hardest Times She Can Imagine."
Isn't that weird? We were little kids. We really were. When
I
my
heard
dad
that
had
he
them.
did that. And your brother goes, I don't know, maybe he was in.
No, my brother used to sit in front of Frankie Benelli's kick drums at the Chamber of Commerce, so he wouldn't move the kick drums.
He just passed away, from cancer.
Red would sit there, and Frankie Benelli's just like beating these 2 big kick drums,
And he had
you
gongs.
see him going like this on the terrazzo floor. Yeah,
And he had 2 gongs.
Yeah.
Coventry was a badass.
They were
band.
badass.
And I think your dad managed them.
he booked them.
He booked them, yeah.
Yeah.
So Coventry
And
was
that
the
guitar
opening band.
player, Jay Cummings, was the first guy I ever saw with the Marshall 810 cabs.
Oh, yeah. See, there weren't many. Yeah, they're so collectible now. They're like $10,000.
See that?
See, I right question.
Yeah, right
So,
question.
yeah.
Question number 2. What is the most off the top of your head, the wackiest moment of all the shows? Let's say you probably have thousands of shows under your belt now over the years. What's the one that just stands out where you're just like,
I can't
oh
believe
my
this
God,
happened.
did that just happen? Do you have one of those off the top of your head that you think of? Just one of those wacky, drunken, stupid.
Drunk and
Just,
stupid.
I
There was
mean,
plenty. Okay, there used to
just
be.
somebody who just threw up all over you while you
Yeah.
were playing. Anything good?
Well, I mean, we used to play when I first joined Rocks.
Right.
We used to play at that place, Pieces of 8, in North Miami.
Yes, I
And
remember Pieces of 8.
That fucking place, man.
Okay, give me one, man. Come on, something simple.
Those are heavy days of me drinking and doing drugs and stuff and all that back then.
Right.
But I can just remember like girls coming in and just pulling their tops up, and then another guy coming right behind him, like with a big Coke spoon while I'm on stage, and just going like that. And me
Yes. See, that's what
like,
our, that's what we want to know, kids.
But I don't do any of that anymore. But I certainly
But it did happen.
Oh my God, that was crazy. One time that place, there was a Lums right next door. So,
oh my God, the Lums. There's still one, I think, in Davie. Go ahead.
So we got done, and the lady that owned it was this kind of large Cuban woman named Nelda.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, love it.
So we went over to Lums and we ate, and so we get done and we're like all pretty hammered, and we go, hey! So we go and just like we were walking back to our car, and I just like went like this with the doors, like 4 a.m. The place was supposed to be closed at 3, right? And the lights were on, and I went, and the door opened. I go, hey, the place is still open. Does Nelda know about it? I go, and so we look, and there's no one in there. I go, we should probably call her like in an hour or so. So we go back in and just start drinking.
Lums. You remember Lums?
Yeah, Lums. There used to be one in Lighthouse Point.
Right off of Davie Road Extension.
The hot dogs are in beer.
Burger.
Oh,
the hot dogs are in beer.
And the Schooner, the 16, and Ollie Burger.
See, this is if you're old Hollywood, old Miramar.
And I think they had this chicken called Wiener Walled Chicken. Yeah.
I remember.
Okay, so real quick, couple more. What is the at all the gigs you've ever done? Which was the biggest gig that you've ever played? As far as
most amount of people.
How many people?
Everything.
Yeah, like where you just walked out. I mean, one of them has to be that bandshell gig. Sometimes on a.
Well, no, right? You know what was the biggest? Believe it or not, was the one, the first one that I did with Billy Livesay with Foghat with Tony Stevens.
And where was that at?
It was at this big farm on the top end of Lake Okeechobee. And it was this big...
Oh, I know what that is.
Like a mudding festival. They do all this mudding and stuff. And it's real rednecky. It's real
I love the
rednecky.
rednecks. Yeah.
So it was us and Molly Hatchet.
Yes.
So,
Okay, other one. We got to close this up. Favorite pizza joint? Off the top of your head, Hollywood, Mirror.
Well,
you got a favorite pizza joint?
I do DeSalvo's quite a bit over there.
DeSalvo's what? University?
No, the one in Hollywood.
Where's it at? DeSalvo.
Sterling Road and 46.
No more Villa Rose.
No, is that still open?
Villa Rose is gone.
Wow, yeah.
No more Villa Rose. So, what's a show that you're thinking of that you'd like to promote? Not just one of your smaller clubs. Is there anything special coming up in the next few weeks that you'd really want people to maybe show up to? Is there another CD show? Is there?
Well, okay, I can tell. All right. Well,
maybe a big rock show.
Yeah, there's a big rock band show coming up. I want to say on the.
Go ahead, check your phone while
I want to say the 12th of April, but let me just double check. I want to say that seems to stick out. Yes, the 12th of April at Sharky's.
12th of April, Sharky's.
Yeah, that guy is a stand-up guy, Richard.
Rich. I'll be there this Saturday. Not that anybody hasn't show up.
No, that's really cool. And also, Richard and I were talking about, and it's funny because when I played with the big rock band, he came to me and said, wow, now we need to get your band in here. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool. So, it's like,
might be able to do original show.
Yeah, I didn't have to go like, hey man, I think you like my band. Yeah. So he came up to me. So we did the trio with John O'Brien and Guido, and it went over really well. But we also talked about doing another CD release party, perhaps in December, because it's out west. And
well, shit! By then you should have another CD, buddy.
No, I don't think I will.
Oh, come on, let's go.
No, listen.
We got 7 months. We can maybe throw something together, maybe.
But I'm working on it. But I got to work this CD. And by the way, this one is available now. I mean, it's on Spotify, iTunes, and all that.
Can I get it at your gigs also?
Yeah, I usually have them. I don't like if I'm playing on someone else's gig. I don't like to flaunt it. You know what I mean?
No. I get
it's
that.
disrespectful to go. Hey, Shaky,
check out
here's my shit.
But Shaky would love that.
Yeah,
he don't care.
Yes, you can always come up to me. I always have T-shirts, and I always.
Yeah, but I just saw your T-shirt. I was at your show, by the way, and let me throw it out there for people who might have caught it earlier. I was playing down the Keys, stopped by the band shell. Place was slamming. I'm sitting there in the front row watching this thing. Your jacket, your outfit.
You were
There was
bedazzling?
muggy.
I was totally
Dude, you had to
bedazzled.
see him, dude. He looked like
I saw.
he looked
No,
like
I did. I saw a video.
The Liberace of the blues.
I saw video.
He looked like Liberace of the blues festival. You know.
That's right,
And
man.
then Muff and RG. As soon as I got there, they did like this 8-minute just jam, and not one chord was changed. It was just some kind of.
But it wasn't boring. It was
Oh,
badass,
no.
man.
There was one
Full of
chord of
energy.
just like this funky. I don't know what happened. Then all of a sudden, the drums did a solo, bass did a solo. I mean, it was just. Everybody was really intrigued. Everybody was focused. It was a great jam, great show. And then to top it off, I saw somebody wearing Jimi Fiano shirt,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
and
I
they
just
look
didn't
pretty
get-
cool, don't they?
That's what I thought. I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool style.
Yeah,
of
because
shirt.
it's like I didn't want to have like my face. You know what I mean? I'm not real comfortable with that. But this is kind of like an outline of my face.
Yes,
So
like a
it's not-
caricature.
Yeah. So it's not so like ooh, look at me. You know what I mean? So, but
Well, if anybody wants to get your shirt, CD, they come to your gig or they get it on from your website. The next big rock show is going to be at Sharky's.
April
April
12th.
12th.
April 12th.
I think it's a Friday.
We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
I
How
love
exciting it was to have Jimi Fiano. Make sure you check him out on Facebook.
Yes.
His website. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you thought about the interview. It's really important that you do that for us. We're happy to provide this format for you guys to come in to the music industry here in South Florida. Thank you so much for having us. Jason Sedowy.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Sedowy, Jimi Fiano, Keith Ridenour.
We'll
Let's
see
have
ya.
a round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
See you next time.